Hello, Vol Vault members and anybody else watching out there. I'm Starla, and today I have to celebrate 40 days till Tennessee football. We have VFL number 40, Billy Ratliff. How are you doing, Billy?
I'm doing great, Stoll. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to you. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about, of course, is the one of the great plays from the '98 season. In my opinion, what if you hadn't made that the stumble and fumble, we may not have won a national championship. So we all know that play. We've all watched it probably 100 times. But can you walk us through from your perspective, like what went down? How did you see it all unfolding?
Well, Stoll, I'll tell you this. I mean, it's probably one of the toughest games I've ever played in my life. Um, you know, um, Arkansas was a great team that, we didn't know they were that good. We never ever thought Arkansas would give us that type of trouble. We were back then, we were kind of like how Alabama is right now in
Yeah.
Georgia. The only
Yeah.
team we worried about was the Gators.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, everybody else was more like stat teams to us. You know, we're going to get attacked for losses, your sacks, interceptions. And, we pad our stats by not letting them get a lot of yards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, scouting report came in for that week of Arkansas. And I remember Coach Chavis telling us about this All American name, Brandon Bursworth. And of course, Brandon wasn't your typical looking All American offensive lineman. Brandon, he was, the way he dressed didn't impress us as far as he is the best guy on their line. He was dressed like I say, a Pee-wee league first time putting his pads on. You ever where, they have these big Coke bottle glasses on and their pads are hanging out. And it's like the first time they ever put on pads. And that's the way my teammates treated it. And of course, Brandon was a lot better than what we thought he was. He was the All American. And I remember us going into this game, first series of defense, Arkansas pretty much drove it down our throat, threw the ball all over the field, and we couldn't stop them. And we thought it was just a fluke, but these guys were really trying to beat us.
Well, that's saying a lot because y'all stopped everybody that year. So
Yes. And I'll tell you this, Al Wilson, Al told us, if we lose to Arkansas, you know what's going to happen come Monday. I can't really say what Al said, but it was just that explicit.
yeah.
And we go into the game, and I remember it was fourth quarter and maybe 3, 4 minutes to go in the game. And I remember our offense going back out on the field. First down, nothing. Second down, nothing. Third down, nothing. And then the fourth down is when T threw it to Pillis. I mean, pretty much kind of wide open, and it went through his hands.
Mm.
And us on defense on the sideline, we looking on and we see T get hit late. So we automatically think it's going to be a personal foul, first down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And I remember T coming off the field, and I see that look in his eyes where that wasn't T. T was always motivated, ready to come off the sideline, see what Coach Cutcliffe was going to tell him about the next series.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just didn't want my quarterback to feel like that. So I said something that I didn't really believe. Now that I think about it, I actually told this man, "Keep your helmet on, man. I'm getting the ball." And I said that just more of a motivation thing, just for him to keep him up, and also for myself because I didn't think we was gonna get the ball back. I was just going out there. I'm just gonna give it all that I got on his next play, and if something happened to happen. But believe it or not, I had zero stats before that play going into this game. I didn't have a tackle for loss. I didn't have a pass broken up. I didn't have an assist tackle. I didn't have anything. And it was a miracle that I thought that Brandon took the play off because On first down, I got a tackle for loss on that series. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Second down, same thing. I make another play. And believe it or not, this next play is when it happened. I said, man, I got to make something happen. I'm just going to get off this ball as fast as I can. I'm going to put my hands in his chest, and I'm going to drive him all the way back to the goalpost. That's all I was thinking about. I wasn't even thinking about the play that Al just called, or who, I think it was Chris Ramsey called the play. And I get off the ball. I have my hands in Brandon's chest, and I saw his shoulders open up, and I just kept pushing. And I happened to just look down, and I'm like, are you kidding me? The ball is right there. This ball, I'm serious. It was like it was there for forever. It was like everything was in slow motion, and it was like a movie. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get it. So I just jumped on the ball. I wasn't trying to pick it up, try to run it back or do anything, because that's what most defensive guys think. Pick it up, run it back. But if you know how footballs are, they're not the easiest thing to pick up when you try to jump on them. It's
Especially
like,
when it's wet like that too.
that's how footballs are. It's like a piece of soap.
Yeah.
It's in your hand when you're trying to squeeze it hard.
Hmm.
That's what happened, man. The miracle fumble happened. I picked it up, and I knew that we was gonna win the game when I saw the offensive line go back out there,
Hmm.
because they end up doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing the whole game. Run the ball.
Yeah. Oh, I was at that game, and that's all. That game has stuck out to me more than really any football game that I've ever been to, just because of the whole atmosphere. I mean, there's not many times you can hear a pin drop in Neyland Stadium, and you could hear a pin drop at times that day. Now it came alive there at the end, but that was crazy. The whole game was. So to me, when I think of Billy Ratliff, I think of that play. But what sticks with you? Like when you think about back to your time at Tennessee, what are some things that stick out to you? It doesn't have to be just from that season. Maybe it's other seasons.
Well, so I'll tell you, I mean, I'm a family guy, and I love my teammates. And the reason I came to Tennessee was because of my teammates.
Hmm.
The family that I built away from home is a special bond that I got with a lot of the guys. And to this day, I keep up with most of them. I go through my phone book and my cell phone every month, and I try to call everybody from A through Z. You know,
Hmm.
most of them they don't call you all the time, but I at least try to call and see what they're doing and check on them. And that's just me. I'm a family guy, and I just like to keep up with the guys, and that's
Hmm.
that's what I normally do now. I mean, um, for as plays, as far as football, there's so many that I can think of that I remember at Tennessee. Most of the plays everybody. I mean, the only play everybody think about is the Arkansas play, but I made a lot of plays that I didn't even realize I made until, talking to Coach Dan Brooks not too long ago. And I remember a story he was telling me about. We played UCLA, I think it was like 96, my freshman year.
Hmm.
And I remember where Coach Marshall used to be our offensive line coach, and he left Tennessee to go coach at UNLV.
Hmm.
UNLV. And I remember Coach Brooks telling me that Coach Marshall was wondering who I was because he had never seen a defensive lineman run down running backs before they got to the line of scrimmage when they tossed the ball out there. And Coach Dan Brooks was like, well, he's a defensive tackle, but he's actually a middle linebacker. So he can actually run when he needs to do that. And that one play that really sticks out to me that I'm like, guys, that's easy. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Hmm. Yeah. So when I spoke to you before, I'd mentioned that we were talking about the Arkansas play, and I mentioned that I'd watched the movie that they made about Brandon Burlsworth. And you said that you felt like that some of your teammates were sort of misrepresented in that movie. Can you tell everybody that story?
Oh my. I remember watching the movie, man, and I have yet to finish this whole movie yet because of that one play.
Yeah.
Um, there's two of them in the movie where I remember when they had a play when the guy runs over Al and when they're running the ball, and I'm like, nah, Al don't typically get ran over.
Yeah.
the play where Deion Grant blocks the field goal and Al runs down the sideline with the ball, and Brandon tackles him on the sideline. And it shows that Brandon reached down to help Al up, and it shows that Al slapped his hand away. I'm like, nah, it didn't happen like that. Typically, if anything like that happened, that guy that knocked Al down or knocked him out, Al's gonna repay the visit the next play. So those were some of the things I'm like, come on, man, you can't do it. And I knew it was a movie and they had to make it a little bit
Yeah.
more active, but come on, you can't do our best player like that on defense.
Yeah, for sure. So, now all the, the players, when they commit to college, you watch them in high school and there's huddle videos and they all put out these little videos and they put out their top five and you follow their recruiting from beginning to end. But when you were in school, you didn't have all that. So can you tell us about your journey to Tennessee? How'd you end up at Tennessee?
I tell you this is gonna be a funny story, right? Because
Okay.
it comes back to Arkansas and Tennessee in a sense. Arkansas was recruiting me very heavily, and they were the first school that offered me to come on an official visit.
Hmm.
And of course, I accepted the choice to go on a visit, and they flew down to come pick me up. And in Magnolia, Mississippi, Macomb, Mississippi, we don't have a huge airport, so we had like a small airport. And I remember them bringing the plane in because I had a game. I played basketball too, so I was going to be going right after the game. So after the game, I go up to the airport, and the plane is there, and I see this plane, and I'm like, um, Mom, I can't do that. I mean, because I've never flown before either. So,
Yeah.
and the plane that was they sent, it was a small private plane that had these two propellers on the side, and every plane that I ever seen like that on movies or shows, I always remember them crashing or something. It made me think of the show Gilligan Island,
Oh,
where
no.
always trying to get off and they always crash the plane. And I just remember just I'm like, no, I'm not getting on that plane. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I didn't go. And then Tennessee heard about that situation. So that next week, Tennessee flies in with a gosh, when I say this was the plane of all planes, it was a new plane that just got, and they called it the Starship.
Oh.
Black, and it was chrome shiny. It was nice. It was nice. I mean, I get inside this place, and I'm looking around in this airplane. I was like, okay, this thing is bigger than my house. And get to Tennessee, and then it was just meant to be because all the guys, when I got to Tennessee, each one of the guys that was on my recruiting trip that ended up coming to Tennessee,
Hmm.
they all reminded me of one of my teammates on my high school team. And that was a big thing that made me come to Tennessee because it wasn't the stadium or anything like that. I didn't really care about flashy stuff or anything, and they didn't realize that until the end of it. And my mom was like, he's not really into all that stuff, guys. I mean, he don't party, he don't do any of that stuff. He's a homebody. He's a mom's boy, and that was me. You on my recruiting trip. I'm the only one sitting on the side of it by myself and I'm just waiting to the next event. I'm not like mingling with the guys, anything. I'm observing everybody. I'm always behind the scenes watching everybody. And I still do that to this day.
Hmm.
All my teammates will tell you that. They're like, when they come in town, they'll call me because they know I'm going to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Yeah.
And to this day, that's how it's been. And that's what made me come to Tennessee was my teammates.
Well, that's great. So what are you into now?
Well, right now I am into what I call the journey of life and health. Health is my thing. I mean, all the scares I've gotten, it has woke me up. You know,
Hmm.
I'm hearing a lot of my friends, they're passing away with, a lot of health issues, and I'm trying to stay on this planet as long as I can. And it's hard, I'll be honest with you. I mean, like keeping this weight off has been tough. I remember I
I
got up
feel you there.
330 pounds. And I was like, gosh, I got to get this off me, man. I'm like, no, I can't do this. And
Mhm.
I'm down to about 265 right now. I'm up and down from 250 to 265 because I got to drop 15 in about the next 2, 3 weeks because I don't like it. I like my kids.
Well,
He's playing basketball.
mhm,
I'm just keeping up with him. He's my motivation now, and that's just been me lately.
yeah. Well, let's talk some about this current team. Coach Heupel's been very open about welcoming all former VFLs back, and seems like he really likes having you guys around the team and in the locker room, the weight room, wherever you want to go. Have you got to spend some time around the team?
I still haven't been over there yet. I got a chance to talk to some of the guys this past summer at one of the Tennessee Legend camps.
Hmm.
And I know what they're going through. And me, like I said, I'm the type of guy that I don't like to be the center of attention. So
Hmm.
stuff going on over there, and I'm like, it's their time, so I let them shine. So I typically don't go over there until like 2 a days, whenever they get started with the real stuff, where I can see what they really got.
Hmm.
Everything else, they can fabricate everything, but to me, when they get on that 2 a days, and I see who lays it all out on the lawn in practice, because that's where the game is truly won and lost at.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah. So, but you said you have a relationship with Rodney Garner, right?
Yep, Coach Gardner is gosh, we got lucky with him. Um, I'm just thankful that he came back to Knoxville and try to regenerate what we used to have in our defensive linemen, because it's been a long time since we had dominating defensive linemen that could change the game, and that's what we're missing right now,
Hmm.
is defensive linemen. And we've had some good guys. The problem we've had lately is depth.
Hmm.
I think we finally got enough depth to compete in the SEC. And when I say by compete, I mean dominate,
Hmm.
because that is what's needed in the SEC. If you notice, any team that has won the national championship or the conference championship has been the guys that had the best defensive lineman in the conference. And the NFL draft, it shows you that every year.
Hmm.
Who won the national championship this year, and the SEC, Georgia.
Hmm.
How many guys they put in the league on the defensive line? That
Yeah.
is what we've been missing. And Coach Garner brings something to the table that creates something in these guys that they want to play the position, learn the position, and have fun with the position. Because that's the thing I think that we have been missing on defense is fun. And I'll tell you that the last time, me personally, seeing our defense at the University of Tennessee have fun would be when Eric Berry was here.
Yeah. Those are fun years. Yeah.
Last, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So how do you feel, now players can profit off their name, image, and likeness, which I think I love personally. I know everybody has different views on it, but how do you feel about NIL?
I love it. I love it. I mean, it was due time to be able for the kids to at least get. Well, here, let me just spin it around a little bit, because the way I was hoping NIL was going to be was a little bit different than what it is now. I like how it is going, because the amount of money they get, oh wow, it's amazing. Some
Hmm.
of these guys are making more money than their parents are making. This is a time where I love it, because they can set themselves up to retire their parents if they wanted to. But when I was thinking about being paid or getting money like that, I wasn't thinking about that kind of money that the guys are getting now. I was talking an extra $300 a month. I was talking about, the additional funds to be able to get, a brand new polo shirt or take somebody out on a date. Um, Being able to stock my fridge where I didn't have to worry about going to the training table or anything like that.
Mhm.
That's what I was talking about when I thought about NIL. But when they brought it out, I was like, wow. And when I found out how it actually worked, it even wowed me anymore because when you tell me that you have a list to choose from to know exactly how much you're going to make, how much time you have to put in to make this amount of money, I mean, they're not getting paid by the hour. It's the contract.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I love it though, because the guys don't have to put their parents through that extra stress when it comes to financial needs. Some of the guys that don't have that money to take care of the extra stuff that they need, because
Mhm.
that was a burden on a lot of guys that I played with. If they had that stress taken off them, I can imagine how good we really could have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we was good back then. I'm talking about my record at Tennessee was 45-5.
Yeah.
And gosh, I got through college. My NIL was Pell Grant, my excess money from Pell Grant,
Hmm.
that $700 that was left over, and then my bowl money. I saved it to be able to manage through it. And I tell people how much money that I got from the University of Tennessee from living off campus monthly. During the season, I got a check for $499 per month.
Mhm.
Summertime, the 2, 3 months in summer, we got $599.
That's
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
We basically end up having like 4 guys to an apartment or whatever to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Who'd you live with?
see, so when I first moved off, it was me, Eric Westmoreland, and Philip Crosby.
Mhm.
And after that, it was Sean Johnson. I think that was it. And of course, I mean, I'm trying to think, did I really ever even stay at home? That's a whole long story there.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the transfer portal?
I hate it to a certain extent because the kids are not working their butts off to earn the positions and spots that they got. I text a old friend of mine that used to work here at Tennessee, Dan Carson. He's at UAB right now. I think he's like the assistant athletic director or something down there. And I text him about a kid that was at my high school that's a really good basketball player and that's probably going to be going to UAB. And he was telling me that he don't know if the kid was coming, and he was talking about the transfer portal. He was like, these kids have gotten out of control when it comes to that because they're going to the highest bidder,
Yeah.
highest place, the highest city that's going to give them the best NIL deal. And I understand it. But the part that I don't like about it is there's no accountability.
Hmm.
I mean, what are they learning from that? Because I'm telling you, life after college, when those bills are coming, it ain't easy. I remember when I was told that you can't rely on football because it's not going to be there forever.
Hmm.
You got to have a BUP. You got to have a
Yeah.
plan, because if you don't have it and you go into it after that, not know how to do a resume or how to do an interview and things like that, it is life changing. I say that I was blessed because I had some of my teammates helped me out financially when I finished because I had a harder time after because I was injured my senior year and I had multiple surgeries that, I couldn't work or anything like that. And, when the clock is over, Tennessee don't pay those bills anymore. Those bills still coming.
Yeah.
It's either go to the credit report or you on the street or you go back home and live with your parents.
Yeah. So, you see all the time these t-shirts and these hats and stickers that say feels like 98. That's the big saying, especially after this last year. So now I don't know how many people really think we're on that level yet. I mean, y'all dominated most of the 90s, but what do you feel? I know you kind of probably already answered this before, but what do you feel needs to happen for us to get up to that top tier where we are the team that, we're in the playoffs every year, we're in the national championship every few years? What do you think needs to happen?
I think we're trending. I think we are. I still think we are at least one more good recruiting class away from being able to say we can dominate.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, I don't think we're going to ever have an issue as long as we got Coach Hyper's offense.
Mm-hmm.
The best has yet to be seen with his offense. People don't understand that yet because his offense is not passing. His offense is actually running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We have yet to see that part yet.
Yeah.
Imagine us running the ball and then people got to decide if we're going to pass the ball or not. They have yet to see the real offense yet. Once we get what I called the situation of where coaches don't have to teach kids how to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I call that, when we get to the point where the coach is only developing, is when we are going to start to dominate like the Alabama, the Georgias.
Do you think that comes from recruiting?
Yes,
Yeah.
because the teaching part is normally from your elders, the guys that's in front of you, where you watch the guys in front of you and you mimic what they do and you do it better than they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the coach is not able to, don't have to do that part, that's when we become great. That's when it becomes easy. And when we get to that point, that's when we're gonna get it back. Because right now, we still don't have what I call over there a leader. They automatically give the leadership to the quarterback because that's what his job is.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one guy on defense that we can say, hey, that's that guy.
Yeah.
They don't have like the Al Wilson. Or, I can say many guys that's on my team that you could have called a leader. There's not anybody on that. And we haven't had, it's been a while since we had a leader. And I'm still going all the way back. The last one was Eric Berry.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get that, I think that would happen to where we can say that it feels like 90. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, it did feel like that because we was winning. And I think I'm not maybe the only person in the state of Tennessee that thought where we can do what we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to be better this year because our starting quarterback is starting again.
Yeah.
We almost had a Heisman Trophy winner with a backup quarterback.
It's
Nobody
gonna be good.
remember that. Like y'all
Yeah.
do know was our starter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So who's your breakout player this year? And it can be a defensive player or an offensive player, or you can name one from both sides of the ball.
I'm going to go with the whole defense.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because we haven't had a whole group of guys collectively that is on the same page.
Yeah.
Everything that I'm hearing, I haven't saw it yet, but everything that I saw last year is what I've been waiting to see. And now it's time for them to come together collectively and show the world that this is Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to pick one player that I'm gonna say is gonna be the shocker. It's gonna be Joe because everybody underestimated this kid. Everybody wanted to throw this kid away. Everybody was wanting to call. They called him, the moon because he threw the ball to the moon. But now all of a sudden, everybody is what now? They're like, oh my God, he's a quarterback. He's the best quarterback we ever. Guys, you don't remember what you were saying about this kid? Y'all was doing this guy like JG.
Yeah.
That's how bad they was talking about Joe.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna break a lot of records because, gosh, this kid, I'm telling you, I've never seen a kid that looked like this ever. That's playing quarterback. My first time ever meeting the kid was last summer, as he came in and worked the camp with us, the Tennessee Legend Camp.
Mm-hmm.
And me and like some of my teammates, we typically try to guess what position these guys play
Mm-hmm.
based on when they're walking up. And you see one guy, oh yeah, that's a linebacker. Oh, he's a big guy. Yeah, that's an offensive lineman right there. Okay, yeah, that's a defensive tackle. Oh yeah, he's a wide receiver right there. Yeah, that's high. Yeah, he's a wide receiver. Yeah. And Joe walks up and I'm looking at him from a distance. So yeah, he's about 6'6", 6'7". Okay, okay, yeah, that's a defensive end right there. And then everybody's like, who? I was like, yeah, guy right there. Nah, master quarterback. So what? Quarterback? Come on, that can't be the quarterback. Sure enough, man, this guy, gosh, never seen anything like that before in my life, man. And I've seen a lot of quarterbacks, and he has a cannon.
Yeah.
Cannon. I thought T. Morton had a cannon. I thought Jermaine Copeland had a cannon, but no. I thought Mike Vick had a cannon. This kid throws the ball harder than I ever seen anybody. And seeing people don't understand that his accuracy is that's how Coach Hype teach these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they say he's overthrowing them, but when he's overthrowing them, guess what? There's no turnovers, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
don't have any turnovers. I mean, he's throwing it where no one else can get it, but either his receiver get it or no one get it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I,
That's a good point.
take that. I take that turnover ratio every single time.
Yeah. So, last question. What is your prediction for this season? What do you think our record is going to be?
I'm gonna go with the exact same record we had last year,
Ooh.
or better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think if we play exactly like we played last year, with the exception of our defense stepping up this year and making some plays,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be tough to beat. We're going to be tough to beat. I mean, you're talking about a whole lot of kids that don't nobody know anything about.
Yeah.
They are underrated guys that no one's talking about. Like there's not one running back that they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're talking about just the receivers and the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it because
Yeah.
we get to shock the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think if we could make some more plays and get some turnovers on defense this year against the Georgia, the Alabama, because I'm telling you, Tennessee is in the back of everybody's heads right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can say all they want that last year was a fluke. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't. It wasn't. The
Mm-hmm.
fluke was South Carolina beating Tennessee. That was the fluke because gosh, I still don't know where we could have been.
Yeah.
Gosh, gosh. But it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
I'm predicting 10, 11, 10 or 11 games.
Yeah, I hope you're right. So,
I'm
well,
all
Billy, thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time. I appreciate it. You've made my whole day. I mean, I grew up watching you, in high school, so I just feel so honored to get to talk to you.
I am glad to be on. I'm thankful that you even asked me to come on because I haven't did this in forever. I used to have my own podcast, and when I opened up my restaurant a couple years ago, well, a year ago, and I stopped doing this show because it was kicking my butt.
Well, if you decide to start it back up, then let me know and we'll have to get you. I'll definitely listen because I listen to podcasts every day. So
I'm working on it right now. And I got a few things I got to work out before I do it. And my podcast is just me. I'm sports and life is what I love. I don't normally have any outlines or anything like that. I normally come in with one topic and I flow with that topic until I can't flow on it anymore.
mhm.
And health is one thing that I love to talk about. And that's going to be the one thing I think I'm gonna bring back because a lot of my teammates, we are on the back end of life. And I wish there was a fountain, a Ute pill or lake or water or something that we can drink. But we got to do it the old fashioned way. We got to stop eating so much and exercise somehow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of my teammates that are bigger than me that were smaller than me when we play. Like there's running backs now that are 300 pounds. And there's offensive linemen now that are 150 pounds, and it's crazy. But I will let you know. I mean, you'll be the first to know whenever I get it going, and I'm ready to do it because I miss it.
Yeah. Well, you let me know for sure. And we've got to get together and play that game of cornhole that we missed out on the 4th of July.
So I was going to save it and tell them this. I was like, I think you did that because you was afraid you was gonna lose against me. But I said, I'm gonna wait until I know he's fine and healthy before I start joking with him again.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Well, you have a great night. Thank you so much again.
No problem, Starla. You have a great night too, and thanks for having me again.
All right. Thank you.